Okay, when I begin to think about the animation that my flipbook is going to create, I want to think about my storyboard, or how the movement is going to happen in my animation, where the design or the drawing is going to start and where it's going to travel throughout the page of my flipbook. So first thing we're going to do is just do a quick sketch of our storyboard. This does not have to be done in detail. This can just be like real quick, basic shapes and forms and where they're located and the direction of travel. So I'm going to use a Sharpie so you can see what I'm doing through the video, but you should do this in pencil in your sketchbook. So my idea might be that I have these two spheres that are going to travel towards each other, and when they meet, they're going to combine. So page 1, I might have these two spheres on the outer edges, and then page 2 they're going to move closer together. So I'm just going to quickly draw them getting closer. Page 3 they're going to get bigger and closer, and then page 4 is where they're going to kind of connect in the middle, and then my idea is that it's going to like melt down the page. So this is then going to start to melt, and it's gonna get bigger and longer and droopier as it melts, and then it's eventually gonna disappear off the bottom of the page. So this is kind of my quick rough idea of the motion to my storyboard. So once I've got that planned out, now we're gonna transfer over to our rough draft drawing of the actual size of our flipbook. So the size of your flipbook is 3 inches by 4 inches. Remember that when you hold onto the flipbook and thumb the pages, your hand is gripping a portion of the drawing. So what I'm going to do is not use the top edge of the space. So what I would do is determine, do you want your pages horizontal or do you want them vertical? Does not matter to me what you choose, but what I did was I drew a line that's about a thumb thickness from the top edge, and I sketched this out to know my drawing should not be inside these lines because I'm not going to see that portion of the drawing in my actual flipbook. Okay, then my concept was in space number 1. So I'm going to put a 1 on page 1 up here in the corner, 2, 3. So my first idea was that these spheres are going to start on the outer edge, and then they're going to move closer together as my animation progresses. But maybe I want my spheres to have a little bit of shadows underneath. Now these are going to start to get a little lower and a little closer. So I'm going to draw them just a little bit lower, a little bit closer. There's their shadowy spots. Page 3, they are going to get even bigger and closer. And my shadows might connect underneath. Okay, now page 4 might be where they squish together to make one object, and that's going to have a shadow underneath. Page 5 is when it's going to begin to start to melt. So now this edge is going to kind of look like it's spreading out at the bottom, and it's going to shrink down off the page and melt even more. So I'm going to make this top edge a little lower, and my melting lines are going to start to droop down. Okay, let me turn the page. Oh, so this was 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7's going to be on my other page. 8, 9, 10 is the least number you can have. Your packet gives you 12 spots in case you want to do more. If you want to do more than 12, let me know and I'll get you more paper. Okay, so now mine started out here, And I want it to look like it's getting even lower, and the drips are going farther and lower on the paper. Then it's going to get even lower still, and then my drips are going to spread out, and then here it just might be a tiny bit of an edge, and then it might transition into nothing. So this is my basic concept for my flip book. So now I need to figure out my background. Your background can be the same in every single picture, or your background can change, or maybe there's animations happening in the background space behind whatever your design is. It doesn't matter to me what you work with, but the requirement said that you did create a distinct background to help tell your story. So maybe mine is just going to have a ground that looks like a checkerboard disappearing. So this is me using what I learned in my last unit of study called op art, where my floor is going to start to look like a checkerboard. Okay, so this might be my first page concept of my animation. So you've got some options. If you want to create the exact same background on all pages, that's totally fine. If you feel like you can just freehand draw that and it's going to look the same on every page, you're welcome to do that. If you feel like you need to trace it so it looks the same, then I can show you ways that we can do tracing. Okay, so I'm going to sketch this on all of my pages. So I'm going to continue to draw that in on all pages. When I finish, it's going to look like this, where I've got my background floor drawn in, my floor drawn in on all the pages. So that is the last step of the rough draft phase of your flip book. You're not adding any color to this set. This is just kind of your rough draft sketch to figure out your plans, your placement. Again, you're doing this step in pencil. I just did it in Sharpie so you can see it in the video. So it does not matter if you have eraser marks or if you made mistakes on this, because this is your practice rough draft version before we start our final.